create content for 12 months straight on YouTube and TikTok, you will never work a 9-to-5 job again. I promise you. Now look, that's a bold statement, but it's the truth. It is factual. We are in some of the most exciting times where you can monetize and earn a hell of a lot of money simply by talking about your passions, sharing your knowledge, experience. As long as you do it in a way of education and adding value to other people's lives, you will get to a point where you can monetize that thing and all these new doors open up for you. But I also want to start in the beginning of this video offering you reassurance and talking about the new world versus what was the old world. Now look, we're in this transition time where we've got the baby boomers, the old school people who are saying influencer, content creator, you sell online courses, programs, you haven't got a huge company on Company's House, you're not a business owner, that's not real, it's a load of faff. And these people have buried their heads so deep in the sand and they refuse to see the times that we are living in and where the future is going. It is online. AI is going to wipe out just hundreds of thousands of jobs everywhere. In all different industries, AI and the online world and autonomy is going to take over. So the best thing that you can do, and this is my advice, is start. Now, if you haven't seen it, I have got another video which I'll pop up here. It's called Create to Escape. Do go watch that video. I'll include the link in the description, and I really deep dive into how you can monetize your specific niche and a load of other information, so it's well worth watching that video. But the truth is, by picking up a camera, learning how to create value-driven content and building your personal brand, you are bringing yourself one step closer to replacing a job. Now think about it, just pause for a moment. Forget about this £10,000 a month. You don't need £10,000 a month. Just imagine getting to a point of earning your first £500, your first £1,000, and now you're earning a half of your salary, 3/4 of your salary. And you do all of this whilst you're still working your job. But let me just rack off loads of ways that you can make money. Brand deals, I'll pop up. I can't say the company at the moment because I haven't signed the contract as of filming this video, but I'll pop up here, $5,000 per month. In fact, what I'll do is I'll show you what my personal brand has allowed me to achieve, appear on, partner, and be seen featured with. It will pop up on screen. I have worked with so many brands that have literally paid me now tens of thousands of pounds just to put my name and face to their product and service. And I only do that if I truly believe in their product or service or I've used it. Once you build a personal brand, the one-off payments or retainer fees or what's called a spotlight series, typically when you get to a good level of high engagement, which means your audience are really engaged and they trust you and they listen to what you say, brands and companies will pay you thousands of pounds for a YouTube video, for a TikTok video. The possibilities are endless. Now, ad revenue on YouTube and TikTok is very healthy once you get to a stage of high click-through rate and high engagement, right? And that's a bonus because then it starts creating sustainability. Again, the brilliant thing about content creation, it's evergreen. So once you post it into the ecosystem, it forever earns money. Whereas like a job, you go in, you clock out, and you only earn money when you're physically there, right? You're exchanging time for money. But building a personal brand is so important because the old school times, and like I say, the haters, the naysayers, and look, I've had them in the comments where people say, well, what is it that you do? How do you earn your money? Well, this is probably a good time. For the record, I was able to leave my job by building a very successful sole trading finance business. I was able to earn a hell of a lot of money in my 20s, which allowed me to become an investor and also replace my job. So for anyone wondering, that's how I did it. I've gone on to build an events company, an educational company. I have a consulting arm, and I have some memberships and programs, e-learning. I've written a few books. I do public speaking, all this kind of stuff. But it's all excelled and ramped up because of content creation. You can do this too. Please don't feel cringe or worried about what people are going to think if you start talking about things that you like. Lifestyle, photography, fashion, travel, entrepreneurship, finance, fitness. Anything and everything can be monetized. but you have to become a value creator. So when you're posting, there's some key things. Make sure your visuals are good, your audios are good, your hooks are good, but most importantly, get people sharing what they feel about that content. You want to be that push and pull. You want people in the comments saying, I love that video, how did you do that? You really want to add value to people's lives. And there's truth in the fact that people only care if you're doing one of two things, and that is making them more money, because everyone wants to make more money to put themselves and their families in a better situation, or you're impacting their lives very deeply. You're having a big impact. And those are the only two things why people will stick around. So make sure that whatever niche you're going to go into, and it can be anything, I really promise you that, don't think that your niche can't be monetized. You could talk about brushing your teeth and you could monetize it, I promise you. And the other thing is, let's not forget where the world's going. AI is going to wipe out most traditional jobs. So if you are in a job in an office or a warehouse, just be mindful, and I've spoken about this in other videos, so I'm not going to deep dive it now, but there is a chance that AI could be coming for your job. That's just the truth. I don't know what you do, and perhaps AI won't take over your job in the next year or two, but believe this, most jobs are going to be impacted, if not majorly affected or made obsolete by AI. So just, bear that in mind. So it's always good to start working on a side business, side hustle, bringing in multiple streams of income, right? You should be doing that anyway, especially the day and age that we're in. So be bold, be brave, have confidence, and start getting on camera. Now, TikTok, live streaming is the future. I do a lot of live streaming, and this is where you're really able to engage and start getting live feedback from the market. Now, what I mean is, how do you build a business off the back of content creation? Because it's great to earn money creating content, but the most important thing is that you build sustainability, and you build either a service or a product or some form of SaaS business where you have residual income. You work towards more of a passive style business, where each month you have a certain amount of money coming in. And again, the brilliant thing about content creation is it's low requirement in terms of money needed up front. You don't need a degree, you don't need any certificates to say that you can create content, and it's super scalable. And what I'll do towards the end of the video, I'm going to share 5 top tips on what I think you should start with if you're on this new content creation journey, right? Now, I've already covered it off, but please don't worry about haters. That's the other thing that puts a lot of people off. This is a conversation I have quite regularly, is people saying to me, I'm worried about imposter syndrome or being judged. Honestly, remember, hate never comes from above, and all of these people that say, scammer, influencer, digital content creator, just selling another course or another service or a product, another so-called guru or expert, remember, these are haters. These are people who have massive insecurities. I have them in my comments. I have people literally hating on me. They're very far and few, by the way, but it's water off a duck's back. You develop thick skin, so please don't worry about that, because they're always going to be there. That is part and parcel. Now, let me share a really cool example about how you could monetize, right? I was having this conversation with a friend of mine, in fact, Big Bear, Steve, shout out to my mate Big Bear, who you've heard before. And, take a pair of trainers and you're into designing Nike Airs or Nike Air Force, right? Imagine this. This is how cool content creation can be to make money. And there was a guy I saw once doing this. He bought a white backdrop thing with a little spindle thing in the middle, which you could put the trainer on and spin it. And he would design Nike Air Force, really cool patterns, by demand. People would say, oh, could you do this design for me? He'd film the process, the start, the beginning and the end on TikTok. It would get millions of views because people love like a transitional video with good lighting, good music, trending music. And then that video for those pair of trainers being designed by that content creator went viral. So not only was that original pair of trainers probably worth £90, they went to the creator, he designed them, which is a one-off pair. It got millions of views. Now that trainer, or that pair of trainers, could be sold for £400 or £500, £600, whatever the market is willing to pay for it, because it is They are an in-demand pair of trainers that got millions of views and one of a kind. How many trainers does he need to do to replace his job? How many memberships do you need to sell off the back of your personal brand to replace your job? How many coaching calls do you need to make in order to replace your job? You know, if you create a book or a program or a course which is between £100 to £500, how many of those do you need to sell until you've replaced your job? Once you develop trust and you've built a brand and you've built an audience that really value what you say, it is time to monetize, and you shouldn't feel bad for that. You're not a scammer if you monetize, by the way. You're evolving and you're adopting to the online world. The people who aren't moving online, integrating AI, creating content, they are going to get left behind and they are going to financially struggle. You look at the high street, look how many physical businesses are shutting down. You know, I have friends that do have massive companies that literally do hundreds of thousands and millions of pounds, but they barely any profit. It's just what the company turns over. It's not profit. If you can operate as a one-man band, you can outsource, hire an editor, hire a VA in the Philippines, you know, outsource your weaknesses and tasks that you don't like to do, build a routine around creating content. You know, you've got to have structure for this to work. Post in volume, again, specifically on YouTube and TikTok, and do that for a year. And avoid all distractions. So look, let me give you 5 top tips, right? Number 1, open a sole trading business. Hire an accountant and get them to open you just a sole trading business that you can open up and that you can start putting your content creation through, so you can start claiming your expenses, and when you start earning money, it can go through your sole trading business, and you can do this whilst working a full-time job. The second thing is create and learn how to build a free funnel. I'm moving over to something called Go High Level, and I'll include the link in my description. It's wicked. I've been with Wix, I've done ClickFunnels before, I've tried Zapier, MailChimp, but I'm moving everything over to Go High Level because it's everything. It's the website builder, the landing page, the sales, the funnels, the lead magnets, email marketing, basically everything I need in order to nurture my viewers and my potential customers offline. So please learn how to build a free funnel, a lead magnet / MVP, so you can collect data. Remember, when you're creating content, you also want to know who's watching you, and in order to do that, you need to have a link tree, which is totally for free. Open that up, put your lead magnet and your funnel into the link tree, and have that in your TikTok and your YouTube and your Instagram bios, so that when people watch your content, you can collect data, you can understand them, analyze it, and then start emailing newsletters and start outreaching to people and start getting feedback. What do they want? Do they want a book? Do they want a program? How can you solve problems for them, right? And then number 3 is outsource your weaknesses. If you have the budget, and you don't need a big budget, take on an editor and take on a VA. Honestly, the best 2 hires you'll ever make, right? Won't cost you a lot of money. Stop going out for pizza and a curry, hire a VA and an editor. Number 4, create a free community. Again, this can be done on a CRM system, again, like Go High Level, or you could open up a free Facebook community group, move your viewers into the free Facebook group and create your own potential customer pond or future pond, right? Where you can run polls, you can ask questions, all this kind of stuff. And then number 5, go all in for 12 months with no distractions. Create 1, 2, 3 pieces of content on both of those platforms every single day. Say no to future arrangements, say no to going out at the weekends, say no to wasting money going out partying and clubbing. Just do it for 12 months. I promise you, just listen to what I'm saying. You can leave your job if you go all in for 12 months creating content and building your personal brand. Take on board what I'm saying, please, because not only am I living and breathing it, so are many other people. Christ, some of my friends could tell you exactly the same. Ben Askins, Chris Donnelly, Simon Squibb, Jason Greystone, Pete Komalafe, Rebecca P. Fox. Literally, the list goes on and on with friends of mine who have become full-time creators and are earning much more than their business has ever earned. Also, the reason I stepped away and I've reduced my workload within my sole trading finance business is because my personal brand is earning far too much now. You know, that's the other thing. I mean, I can't share the company, but in fact, what I'll do is I'll pop up my PR pitch, which will be as I've been seen and featured with, all because of my personal brand popping up here. Some of the companies that I've partnered with that have literally paid me tens of thousands of pounds will pop up. And then also a recent deal that I've just secured. I can't show the company, but that's also a new income through another company that I'm partnered with. I have worked with over 47 brands and over 12 sponsors that have paid me a hell of a lot of money for my face and for my voice, and it's not slowing down. And you could do this too. There is nothing special about me. I'm not a rocket scientist. I've done nothing special. I didn't go to college, I didn't go to uni. I walked away with 1 GCSE from school. And just while I think about it, someone's asked me before in the comments, where do you drive to? Well, I'm actually on my way to my mentor's house. So when I'm doing these car videos, I will go up and we have a mastermind at his house. So that's where I'm off to now. So I thought I'd answer that because I've been asked that a few times. Where do you drive to? Well, sometimes I just take a drive because I've got time, but yeah, mostly I'm heading towards my mentor's house. So that's where I'm on now, and I'm currently 5 minutes away. But do go check out, I'll have this pop up again. Create to Escape is a video well worth watching. And look, I wish you all the best. I'll also put at the end of this video, not my quit your job and build an online business tutorial. I'll put the Create to Escape at the end of this video, and also what business models replace your job. Please listen carefully what I'm saying. You don't need £10,000 a month to live a life by design. So if you'd like to go on holiday whenever you want, as cliche and a bit gimmicky as it might seem, you know, remote working and on the laptop, beach lifestyle. Look, you never take a laptop on a beach. I've never seen anyone, because the laptop would overheat. But you know, I'm just about to go off on another holiday to Mallorca. Like I said, I've literally just come back from Tenerife. We're jetting off to Mallorca. We come back from Mallorca, we go to Disney. I take my laptop and I take my camera and my phone, and I'm still able to set up systems and processes that when I'm away, everything happens automatically. But if I need to take a last minute email, a call or anything like that, I can wherever I am in the world, as long as I've got Wi-Fi, or I would hotspot. You can do that too. But the trick is, don't have high expectations on living on £10,000 a month. Like, again, I've said this in another video. My outgoings for me and my family, for the record, are literally tops £2,000, 2,100 tops. It's normally in between that, right? It might fluctuate ever so slightly depending on our shopping and stuff, but that's like the max. I don't wear fancy clothes. You know, someone said they thought these were Ray-Bans. They're not. These are from just River Island. You know, these sunglasses cost me 12 quid. Yes, now we have a nice car, but this has taken years. Like for years and years, we never had a nice car. We've never been materialistic. I don't spend money on clothes. I've got Primark shorts on. If you learn to live like a minimalist and avoid what society wants you to do and just focus on aiming for time freedom and contentment, you'll live a great life, and you can do that through content creation. I think my biggest message as well is back yourself. Like, don't fear judgment and haters, because there are so many great people out there who could share their message and experience. If you're 20, 25, 30 years old and you've done something niched, or you have an experience and knowledge in something in particular for 3, 4, 5 years, share it. Because remember, there is always someone who would love to know how you've done what you've done. You just put it into capturing engaging content where people go, oh my God, I'd love to learn how to do that. That's why people come to work with me in terms of how to get out the 9 to 5, because I am a minimalist. I don't tell people to make £10,000 a month. I'm a realist in terms of how you do it. You know, TikTok has been a great platform for me, but even getting yourself on live streaming. I mean, live streaming, there are brand managers, marketing managers, sponsor managers, business managers who are literally on live stream, and their one job is to flick through TikTok live stream and find the engaging content creators. And you haven't, remember this, you haven't got to have a massive following. You have to have engagement. I have friends that have millions of followers, but they make no money because all they get is likes. That they don't get engagement. So remember that engagement is key, and also you get feedback so you can go on to build a service or a product. Anyway, look, please go check out some of my other content, because anything you're still wondering or questioning will definitely be included in some of my other content. Until next time, my good people, I am rooting for every single one of you. Even, you know, I wish all the best to my haters. very far and few of them, but I even wish them all the best. Until next time, peace out.